Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. This is gonna be a long-winded analysis video. It's an excuse for me to talk about, again, from my specialty as a game dev artist, specifically to be talking about the Epic 7 6th anniversary update video, which is called the Epic Dash. In this, we'll have the usual Epic 7 kind of preview of the upcoming heroes so people can speculate, see some of the background workings of said heroes, like their S3 animations, concept art, etc., etc. It's always really fun for me to look at it because, again, what drew me to Epic 7 6 years ago, which is insane, 6 years. 6 years ago was literally the art. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, why aren't you playing this, like, other gacha game, like Genshin Impact or Blue Archive or blah, 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 blah. Yes, there's a lot of games that have big booby waifus, so it's not the fact that there are like hot anime girls in Epic 7 that drew me to it, but it literally was like the animation, and of course their UI. And as of, if you watch my videos, you know I can get very ranty, but I mean, I do like setting the context for people who have been with me for a long time, as get reminded like what are my motivations behind these videos, and then of course for new people who are dropping in. But either way, the anime aspect of it was one thing, but the execution was the other. That's the part that always held me. That's the part that I always wanted to come back and play Epic 7. Of course, like, you know, doing PvP, PvE, getting gear, all that kind of stuff is all great too, but it's like you could play Summoner's War for that, but then they don't have the aesthetic. So this is why it's so important for me to, you know, watch these videos, enjoy them, and then like break them down with you guys. Of course, in the comments down below is my form, in terms of a YouTube, my form of communication with you. So definitely drop in if I have any like lore thing I need you to fill in or whatever. But let's get started. So I'm not going to be playing sound because as per usual, Epic 7's, I'll call hype train videos, because that's like the most memorable name for me. These hype train videos always include some kind of copyrighted music or whatever, and I always got struck, like past tense, when I played any like form of sound. Even if Harsetti's voiceover in the beginning here doesn't have copyrighted music, I don't want to play it, so I'm just gonna play it frame by frame. I will say though, before we get into the entire video as a whole, I might be lost in terms of tracking of time, so let me know down in the comments below, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like these hype videos are getting shorter and shorter in terms of the amount of heroes being showcased, and that not even including like new heroes. We're talking about like everything, like ML, specialty change, skins, but like as a video itself, I think I counted 6, but we'll recount it as we're watching, but I think I counted 6 heroes that are featured here. I feel like it's shorter than before. I feel like the previous videos always had a bit more. I would say some were up to 10, and they were, it felt like they were so compact that you would have to go frame by frame because you might miss something. I don't know, like I feel like the production quality is the same. Like Epic 7 has definitely had some, I think they had a drought in artists before where they couldn't meet deadlines, like certain RTA skins weren't released till like a month later, and then S3 animations were really jank. Really cheap, production value was low, but they seem to be okay again, like in terms of the quality. It's just that the production feels slow, or maybe they just don't want to release, you know, they always have like these heroes that are kind of like not shown in one of these previews. I think like 1 or 2 slip through. I can't name off the top of my head, but in my recollection that's what it feels like. So I would assume the same here, but it just feels like they're releasing less per video. So my question is, are they releasing more videos more frequently with less stuff in it, or am I going crazy, right? So anyway, answer that first, but let's watch. So Harsetti, this preview, this leg thing was part of this episode's, like I would say the beginning of the game, like the splash, where you have this kind of like this lip movement. Now immediately she reminded me of Bellion. All right, now the only reason why is because like big booba waifu, kind of blondish hair, has like this insane mama sex appeal. I don't want to admit the mama part, but that's what it speaks to me. Okay, but we've seen this this tease, I suppose, at the beginning. Now, of course, she's tied to the episode, which I have not read. I have not read since like episode 2 or whatever. So again, lore junkies, feel free to fill me in, as I know that there are some of you always like just like, oh, Dragon doesn't know this. All right, let me type out this thing. I really appreciate it. Of course, it gives the context to certain design decisions, which can sometimes justify or prove my points wrong or right. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like, oh, why does this character look Chinese? Like, you guys give me the lore, like, oh, they come from an Asian continent or whatever. Then that kind of makes sense, right? So anyways, so she reminds me of a mix of Bellion and green Litica. So the blooming Litica, which I'll talk about in this next part. So there's this kind of sequence. I think it's just some motion graphics. It's not meant to be any part of her animation, but it's just really to set up this scene as she kind of introduces herself. So finally, we kind of like have a reveal, right? Now, obviously, like I think she has made an appearance in the story where we saw the full body shot like this. I'm pretty sure. But for the sake of the video, they chose to do this kind of, I mean, I don't mind it. Let me just go back here just a little quicker. With this thing with her voiceover to make it more mysterious, and it comes in a silhouette. But I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure we have seen her full color before in a story or a preview or a data mine. It's something like that. So when I saw this, I wasn't surprised. So it's kind of unfortunate because it felt like it's a big reveal. But for the sake of the video, it still pulled it off. Now, this whole red moon thing has been thematically like across multiple videos. It was in like the Frozen Eclipse video. There's a lot of Luna previews had this red moon. I don't know if it's the same red moon. And then what's her name? Abyssal Euphine. Euphine also has something like that kind of reference. So lore buffs, do let me know why. Probably is the same thing, like part of the same story, I'm assuming. But otherwise, I would say it's kind of weird that they keep going to this red moon thing. I'm kind of sick of the red moon thing. But if it is a story component, I totally understand it. So anyways, looking at this design, I think one of the reasons why it reminded me of the Litica with bigger boobs is just because like the way that the clothing like flips upwards, it has this kind of natural leafy look to it. Now I know that they're probably going for this kind of like gothic vampire look, but I think the fact that like she's like in, especially like here, there are like green things, so like it says to me something about nature, like older, like it looks like a more classical, more timed, what do you call it, clothing. With that popped up collar thing, it does have that kind of Dracula vibe. My understanding is that she's probably a vampire because it seems that there's a lot of vampires in this episode. But I feel like this pose specifically with the blonde hair with the green, it does remind me of Green Litica. If you don't believe me, go to your game, open up Green Litica if you have her, and then take a look. It's like almost identical. Now this pose as well is something I see a lot of idol games doing. So while I do think like, oh, she's big mama, big titty mama waifu, every time I say something like that, I feel like it's so silly. But that's what she is. Like she's emanating that kind of presence. Like there are archetypes we already all used to in like anime tropes, right? So, you know, I might be laughing at myself, but if you're like some kind of like weeb or whatever, you're just like, oh yeah, it's just like, it's just anime, it's just another day, right? But it is like the same type of like pose. Like when I saw the Litica, I was in Hong Kong at the time when the green Litica came out. I made no videos about her, and I think that's like around the time where I stopped like completely. Like I disconnected the series of the what did I used to call it? Like the preview thoughts or whatever. Oh man, I don't even know my own content, but I used to do when heroes were released. I used to, you know, talk about how I predict how they would do, where they'd be good at, blah blah blah. I couldn't even do the Litica one, but when I saw the Litica one, I'm just whoa. It's like. And she had a couple like facial expressions that were like pretty lewd with the pose that she was having. So I'm assuming Harsetti here will have similar ones. Like she'll probably have one where she's like blushing, mouth fully open, whatever. I think there's like a weeb term to that, but it basically looks like they're having an orgasm or whatever. But anyway, she has a winky face. So yeah, she has this like big evil mama vibe. I personally, I don't know, maybe the boobs are too big or whatever. I just do feel like she reminds me of a Bellion and like as a like chapter boss, like Zio, Bellion, Strays, like those three if you put them together, and Archdemon Shadow. Those four, if you put them together, they're very distinct. You know what I mean? Like one's like a Shoda, one's like a long hair husbando. Like they're very distinct tropes. But this reminds me again like a Bellion, because if you take a look at like their body type, it's pretty much the same. And again, it's just so much reminder of the Green Litica, especially with that laying down pose, that I'm kind of bored. I'm kind of bored of it. I hope her kid is insane, because with Epic 7's track record, all the bosses have some new mechanic that at the time that they're released is relatively broken. So Zio's being that he doesn't need super fast speed gear to be potentially the fastest on the field. Bellion with the no soul thing, which is, I still think is like stupid. It was so stupid that they had to make Frida counter it. You know what I mean? Like it just, that's the thing about Bellion. I felt like it was a lazy design. Strays, in my opinion, not super broken, but at the time super useful and still can be useful with the one shot. And what was the last one? Oh yeah, Archdemon Shadow, obviously she did fall off, but she was the first one to bring in Seal. So I am curious what Harsetti will bring. But in terms of art wise, I mean, she's fine. We do get the red, oh, you can't see my mouse. I don't have my mouse enabled, but there is some red like stuff within her sleeves. So it definitely does have the blood thing, but I am just curious about the color. Like why specifically green? There must be some tie to nature to it. That's what I think. It's like so if I'm a good artist and I'm looking at a design, there should be something that I can extract from the design itself to tell me about this character. That would be me as a, fingers crossed, good artist analyzing, but also the trust of Epic 7's artists being good at their craft, right? So there should be some kind of connection. If I'm completely off base, then one of us failed, either I myself or Smilegate's artist. So let's just put that as a lesson. So she does have well, it's not that same face, but she does have, I guess, maniacal face. But there are some should I be talking about this on YouTube? More lewd content that involves anime girls that probably has this kind of face. I don't know what it's called, but some people have. I think there are terms for it. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move to the actual art. So it disappears here, and then we're gonna get like this. Okay, so music starts kicking up at this phase. Now, there is the like Brig, and I don't know what Elagos has to do with this. Maybe there's a story tie-in here, but obviously we do have the vampires coming in. I do at least know that Fumir, Kane, Abigail, and Elvira are vampires. I guess this guy is a vampire hunter. He does have elf ears, so maybe it's maybe they're not vampires, right? It's like the dark elf, isn't it? Okay, so the last like 15 minutes, I think I completely botched it. It wasn't a vampire, unless she is a vampire, an elf vampire. Okay, there must be some kind of cool lore going on here. So someone give me the too long didn't read version, because I'm probably not gonna read Epic 7. But it does seem cool. The more I analyze it or reverse analyze my fake analysis, then the more cool it does sound. Okay, so we do get some of her S3 animation. Now this is cool. Frame by frame, I think she's really great. Like check out the S curve there. She definitely has, how should I put this? Not just an ML vibe, but she also has that grandiose feel. of a boss. So she really pulls that off. So something that I think that who do I think doesn't look like the boss? I felt like Zio. If you didn't fight him in the side story, he was pretty difficult when I fought him in the story. Like actually annoying. I think there was like mechanics I didn't want to read, so I couldn't brute force him. So it felt really annoying to fight. But Zio himself, I guess it's just like the way that he is, his stature or something. He just didn't look like a great final boss. Harsetti does, and then she does do some like crazy cackle laugh thing, like almost like rips him into another dimension, which is really cool. These, again, the expression, I did do that breakdown for the Luna video as well, saying that the hold on the face is one of the probably the most powerful things. Like, you can do some cool body movements. Like if you look at Fire Robbie's S3, still one of my favorite S3s. Krau's S3 has a lot of facial expression because he does scream, but I would say Ravi, like she does a lot more like body, like she's running, and that looks really cool. But to get like a really nice hold on the face, you get the intent, you get their, this is a very, very like anime cliche thing where the hand is like in front of the face and you got that one eye or whatever. Very, very anime. Like you see that in Naruto and stuff like that. But you do get a sense of like she's very calm, and obviously she's evil or very powerful, and so like almost without effort she can crush her foes. That's what the underlying frames are really telling us, and that she's beautiful, right? So like that's the thing with like waifu mamas, is that like if they could present elegance, because like females naturally exude like an elegance, or they can rather, so that elegance is nurturing, motherly, calm. So when you have that kind of presence execute with like massive power, it generally that's what the artists use, right? They use that to like drive a contrast. That's why usually like the final boss of like any anime, they're not like the loudest ones. They're not like the Bakero! Like they're not that kind of guy. They're like the quiet ones, right? It's that contrast that brings in kind of the fear, and she definitely emanates that really well. This crushing hand thing, I don't know what it is, but it does have like, it feels like magical spells. So the dark elf thing might be, I know some stuff about Epic 7, so that must be part of it. Now there is also blood. Now are they called dark elves or blood elves? I don't even know. But if the blood has to do with her vampire like ishness, then that's probably also accurate. Now we do get another like end of the world scene, which is not like, it's not like I would be surprised, because like it's literally how in anime, how you accept something as super powerful. So for example, Strays, when he slices 3 planets rip in half. When what's her name, Bellion, does her thing, she's like calm, right? She's in her chair thing, and then she has you see, I think if I remember correctly, there's also an earth, and you see her kind of do that like scary face thing with that flash of like that thing above the earth. So like it's, again, the method used here is to use something that is like has an objective size. So the earth, people know that it's big, so it's trying to give you a relative perspective of how powerful this move is, or how powerful that being is, right? So that's why the earth thing or the planets thing always comes up, especially in anime, because anime is an exaggeration art in a way. And so of course we see this here, kind of cliche at this point, but you know what, I'll accept it, right? Because she's all powerful. Now we do have to keep in mind that there isn't like too many characters that do that all the time. Like I think one of the ones that like zoom out to see how powerful they are is like the limited hero Roy, which rip Full Metal Alchemist. Roy, when he snaps his fingers, it zooms out to a city block and you see explosions. And Karina, also rip Espa. All these collabs never coming back. Karina punching, and then it also zooms out to a cityscape and the smoke blasts through it. So those two are obviously, because those are like cities or a town block or whatever, it's powerful, but it's not as powerful as an explosion that, you know, takes up, you know, whatever, like 10% of the earth, as we saw with Harsetti there. Now this seems to be a specialty change. I don't know her name by heart, but I know that she's crowding my inbox every time I'm summoning. So I am happy that she's getting a specialty change, because finally then I can get off my lazy butt and imprint her, so that she's triple S by the time that this specialty change appears. Now I do have to say the specialty change is really nice. Now when I first watched this, I thought she was a 4-star. Now I'm kind of right, okay? I'm kind of right. When I first watched this, I missed this sequence. So with this, you know, this wipe, so I didn't get the connection. Now obviously I know it's a specialty change because I was a 3-star hero. But when I did see her, I did think that she was a 4-star. Now, like in any gacha game, generally speaking, when you're like a 5-star or like the rarest tier, they have more design details, right? That's just a fact, right? So that's why when people look at like a 4-star or a 5-star, what, this looks like a 3-star, what they mean is that there is less attention to detail. Now this is less attention to detail, but she does look hotter than this girl. My reason is that I'm a sucker for ponytails. I don't know if people have known that about me when you're watching this series of videos, but my thing is, like, if you got the legs, in terms of women, if you got legs and then you got a nice butt, the legs have to lead to a nice butt, by the way. Oops, I accidentally clicked the left and right arrow, but there you go. And then generally blonde. Okay, I'm very attracted to blonde. But ponytail is like my killer. Like I always have to be like, oh crap, it's a ponytail, you know, gotta love her. But yeah, design wise, she's okay, you know, nothing too special. I do like her S3 animation though. I think that's probably the one thing I like about it. This speeding, and then the action poses, you know, very, very nice. I'm just gonna freeze frame here. Very nice. I love these kind of action poses. And again, that's what I'm saying. Like some S3 animations, they don't focus on the face, right? When I was talking about Harsetti, like we focus on the shoes more than the face. Now there is some hold on the face here, like this, but you don't get it for too long because it's in the middle of the action. So contrast to what I said about Harsetti, where her face is calm and then she just basically opens her hand, crushes it, and then like the full team dies and the earth explodes. Contrast what I said there on those notes versus someone like this, less on the face, more on the body. There's more effort in her actually executing the move. What does that say? It means that she's not as powerful, right? So if you're learning this for the first time, you're just like, oh, Dragon, that's awesome insight, please like the video, that'd be super cool. Incentivizes me, of course, more to do these in-depth videos, but I think that's something to note, especially back to back. Now, I think this is the same girl, obviously some kind of anime clip, probably going to be a promo for like the upcoming story, like after this chapter is ended. Maybe, I don't know. And then that guy, wait. Is this guy this guy? So, all right, now I'm intrigued. So we did see this blonde-haired dude elf right before the montage starts, right? So when all those like character art, and he was like the last one there, when he started, I'm curious. He's probably someone. Is he like a Ross? Like, is he gonna be the next? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Okay, let me look at this design, right? Like, if I'm an artist, I can like, is he a 4-star or 5-star? He's a 4-star. 4-star or specialty change. Maybe 2 specialty changes? Is it that guy's specialty change? Also, do we even have that character? I don't even know. Either way, you can see that with the fidelity of the green hair girl, the ponytail, versus this is way less done. So either they did this on purpose because they wanted to show us like different stages of their work, or if this is literally where they're at with this character, then this will come after the green hair ponytail girl, assuming this is a specialty change. But he doesn't speak 5-star to me. His S3 animation isn't a 5-star. Specialty change probably 4-star maybe. This, all right, so a lot of people have done analysis on this. I won't take credit for this. I think everybody knows who this is. This is most likely going to be Dark Shuri. When I did see him, it reminded me of Pavel, and then someone did a comparison of his sprite, and it was like the exact same as Shuri. So I was like, oh yeah, okay, Shuri makes sense. And then now watching this with that context, it's like, okay, yeah, confirmation, like, yeah, right there. So that definitely looks like a Shuri silhouette. Even the gun size is about right. So again, we have another 4-star featured here. So I haven't counted many 5-stars outside of Harsetti. And then so he most likely will be the ML Dark version of Shuri. A lot more details on his gun and stuff like that. Also kind of cool, I guess. But again, take a look at him, his design, and he definitely he speaks 4-star, right? Not much more. Cool design. I hope he's good. I hope he's really good. They feel like they've done a lot more with his weaponry and stuff, which is cool. Like, I always love seeing this kind of stuff and his clothing, but it's a 4-star, right? So I feel like I want to see more of that in a 5-star. Okay, this might be this one and Schniel might be the only 5-stars and Harsetti. So 3 5-stars looks like about 1 to 2 specialty change or 1 to 2 4-star, right? That's what I'm thinking right now, but let me know what you guys think. This is the Flan that won the art contest. Now, I will say, because I'm an artist and because I saw what other contestants had submitted, this Flan was definitely not the best. And the fact that the artist basically replaced one of his old art. Wait, hold on. Let's stop here for now. I want to go back because I saw something I liked. Papa Jagan liked. Basically what they did was they took what seemingly was an art that they've done before that wasn't Flan's head. It was just some generic anime girl, and then they replaced it with Flan's head. But it's like the same body, and then this person won. So, you know, if the artist is watching themselves, I'm not discrediting your ability. You have incredible ability. I saw the original artwork that was posted. I was like, wow, that's insane. But it was cheating. Definitely was cheating. And I think it was even in the rules, like you can't post something you've done before or something. Like, it has to be brand new art. I forgot how it's worded, but I remember reading that. I remember following that controversy. I definitely felt that there were 2 other heroes, maybe even 3, that did make it to the top that should have been chosen instead of this one if this one was disqualified. I mean, if they disqualified Marguerite with the E7WC like a year later, shouldn't they disqualify this? The thing is also, people found out that this artist just basically took his old work and plopped Flan's head on it early enough that Epic 7 shouldn't have sunk so much money into, like, you know, investing into the S3 animation, to character design and all that. It shouldn't have. So I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't take action on it. I'm not gonna, you know, not pull for this Flan just because they didn't take action on it. I'm not that rebellious, but as like an artist, and in fairness to other artists, like, I felt that it was kind of cheating. Anyways, that said, the S3 animation, is it really cool? It's kind of interesting, but I don't think it's that cool. It's like really silly. So we have basically, let's go back here. So we have this Flan going to pull for a Landy, like stuffed animal or whatever. I guess stuffed toy. Couldn't even say animal. And she got it. And I guess that is that the S3 animation? If it is, the story doesn't make sense. I think this is the S3 animation, right? So what is this? I'm curious. If it is the same animation, I'm just curious. I don't know what's going on here, because like you grab something from the claw machine and it looks like sandbags in the background were hit by some kind of beam, and then you throw your Magikarp out, and then there's like 3 beasts, and then they all land on the opponent, and then they dead. It's kind of weird. So this is what I like, right? So obviously we know what I like here. All right, I'm not gonna say anything, and you're just like, yeah, well, it's not even like, you know, it's not even real skin or whatever. Hey man, it's the same color, man. You can use your imagination. You can literally draw 2 dots, and then YouTube would flag me. I can't stay. I probably can't stay on this for too long, to be honest. But as an artist, sure, let's take a look, right? Frame by frame, the fish comes back. The fish is also done in 3D. I'm kind of surprised. Like, wouldn't it just be easier to draw the fish? Obviously, she's gonna be fully clothed, right? So like, this is totally gonna look different. Again, we got a nice little pose, kind of like an end pose, a cute face, of course, even with a wink. Dang, she winked. Holy crap! I remember when Flan first came out, I was doing that wolf howl. I was like, but I'm tired. That wasn't for this Flan. I'm just saying that Flan reminded me of that because I liked her design, like the original Flan design. I liked her. This design, like, again, it's just I'm disappointed, right? I'm conflicted. Design wise, kind of mid too, right? You got to be honest. Like, art execution is good, right? You say it's high quality for sure. I can't draw anywhere close to this. But the trope itself is like, is it exciting? Is it new? No. Like, this is a short answer is no. And then the fact that the artist did cheat, I'm putting that in air quotes, did cheat and win, and there were other artists who were just as good, and I would say even the other artists, like the characters they chose, were better in terms of theme. Like, I felt like it was more exciting than this. Like, she doesn't feel like a fighter here, right? So that's why, like, I don't know what she's gonna be doing. Like, it looks like damage. I don't know what class she's gonna be. Hopefully not some kind of weird soul weaver. But it just looked like she did damage with her specialty. With her animation. But she doesn't look the part, and that's where I'm like, there's a lot of bad decision making here. I feel like any other one of those contestants that were, you know, the top 3, top 4, they could have made like more sense if we're talking about like the entire character. Like, they looked like fighters, if I remember correctly. Or you can imagine what they would use to fight. She uses a goldfish, right? So it's like, that's what I mean. It's like she can only use either her umbrella, some kind of magical power that is not within this scene right now, or use her umbrella. That's like, if you're looking at a character design and you have to wonder, like, okay, how do they do damage? That's probably it. Or maybe she has martial arts. That's pretty much it. But anyways, that's enough. So this is supposed to be a big deal. I read, I don't know what it was, a side story where like Tywin and Broman had to do something, like they wanted to protect Schniel. Schniel was sick or something. There's some kind of like overthrowing of the king, right? Isn't that what like one of the episodes was about, like with Ervelyn and stuff? Either way, he's finally a character. He's finally a hero that can be pulled. Now, I would say that this ending on Schniel is interesting. I would say this. Ending on Schniel is more interesting than we might give it credit for, because he's not an ML, I think. And he's not the Flan, which was like it's going to be a limited hero, but it's like an art contest thing. I feel like the Flan would have made more sense unless the editor of this video didn't know what they're doing, or the more probable thing is that they knew that Schniel would cause more hype. Now, you gotta ask yourself then, is he gonna be insane? I think he probably will. If he's not a limited character, he's probably gonna be maybe meta changing, because I don't feel that, like, at this point he's kind of like Breenus, but Breenus, people expected to be a hero way earlier than Schniel. You know what I mean? Because you fought her in one of the in this the chapter, and she had animations and she had skills and skills that you can read, right? So it felt more plausible that she would be a hero before Schniel. But the fact that they are making Schniel a hero and previewing here, and also his animation is not even bad. I actually feel it's really kind of cool. There's a lot happening here. I like this whole sequence. There's that what's that word called? The sticks and stone may break my bones, but words will make me stronger or something like that. And then there's also all those kind of like sayings about like the pen is greater than the sword. There's a literal like execution on that metaphor here, which I find kind of interesting. Now again, I didn't fully read the story. I just remember he was sick. I guess he's some kind of like he's a king, right? So okay, let's say I'm correct that he is a king, some kind of authority. Then him basically writing like their sentence, like using the pen as the sword, but then having massive power behind it. It does speak to his character. It does speak to this kind of like, there's a cool aspect to that. Again, kind of aligning with that kind of Harsetti thing, like very minimal effort equals great power. He does get that vibe, but then he's also really cool and flashy doing it, which is super cool. I think that he may be one of my favorite husbando characters going forward. Like I always liked his design. He reminds me of in Bleach, Aizen, that kind of dude, right? I'm not saying that they're the same personality, but it reminds me of that, like cool, calm, and collected. But obviously, he's a good guy here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to him. Like the previous husbando that I liked was Janua, not because of his kid. His kid is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but it's just because of his character design. Like I've always liked his character design when he was out, and when he was released, I was like, oh sweet, I have to pull for him. But it turns out that he was just broken too. Is Schniel going to be the case? I don't know. But either way, so that's pretty much the end of the video. This is now gonna jump into the like anniversary hype. And I'm not gonna cover that. That's not the purpose of this video. I've talked way too long. If you're still watching, again, enjoy the anniversary stuff. But yeah, I definitely feel like in general these videos are getting shorter. So in terms of just the hero preview portion of the video, Harsetti kind of mid for me. It's gonna be exciting for a lot of people, especially people waiting for the next ML. And she is a boss character, so she'll bring in a cool mechanic. So the design wise, I'm like 8 out of 10. Excited for meta change, having to find gear for her. She might be like a very unique case or whatever. Probably another 8 out of 10. Overall, like the characters, like Specialty Change Girl. I'm just gonna call her Specialty Change Girl. I'm so bad. Specialty Change Girl, like 6 out of 10. Hopefully she has like a useful kit, maybe PvP. I'm assuming PvE. That's what I'm assuming. This guy, potential Specialty Change guy or 4-star guy. Like 6 out of 10. I'm not excited. I don't like the archers in the game. Really, like a lot of like archers, not rangers. Archers themselves, like Silk, Wanderer's Silk. Who else is an archer? I just feel like they're kind of boring. This one's also kind of boring for me. Like the S3 animation doesn't excite me. This is also kind of cool. I would say this is a kind of like a 8 out of 10. Hopefully he's a speed imprint. Like at this point, there's no reason to not make him a speed imprint, because I feel like we have a very wide variety of really good speed imprints now, that if his kit is not too broken, like it's usable, and he's usable in like a cleave team, but it brings like a different aspect to the team. I don't know what he would bring, but I don't think that it would be bad for him to be a speed imprint, because then at least all Shuris are speed imprints, you know what I mean? So we got Fire Shuri as a 14 speeder, you got a Watcher Shuri as a 10 speeder. It would feel so kind of lame if they don't make him a speed imprint at this point. That's just my opinion, right? That's just my opinion. Because Shuri is literally the only one that has speed imprints for both his versions. And then this Flan, design wise, if you exclude the cheating stuff, execution, cuteness, maybe also 8 out of 10. I'm kind of harsh this time. 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. I think more than Harsetti. I like her more than Harsetti, and maybe it's Flan. Maybe I'm biased. Am I excited about her kit? Probably another 8 out of 10. And then Schniel, I will say if he's like a Genua, kind of like a meta changer, must have non-limited hero, I'd say 9 out of 10 for design because I've always liked his design. And then his S3 animation really giving him that he has to be a king. That's a throne, right? He has to be a king. I would say like 9 out of 10. Hopefully he gets a 10 out of 10 kit, right? But overall the video itself, was it super hype? I would say no. Compared to the last video where we had like a sequence of all these heroes come together, I feel like the last video was better than this. So I would rate this, like if I give it out of 10, I would give it like maybe like a 6.5. 6.5 as a relative to all of the hero preview videos they've ever shown in all time. I might have to dig them up, but I'm pretty sure, like in recollection, and I don't feel like I'm biased. I don't feel like I'm biased because, like, you know, Epic 7 feels stale sometimes. I will say this. There's one thing, the last note I will say is the waifus. Holy crap. Like, okay, so Ida here, the festive summer Ida or whatever, the fire Ida, that design, especially during the event, like she's like her t-shirt's fully wet or whatever, it's like, it's insane, right? Like, cause like you look at something like SSB back in the heyday and like the summertime Assyria, they're like, okay, yeah, they're in bathing suits, but it's like nothing crazy, right? But like Ida, like I didn't even know Ida was that stacked. You know what I mean? Like from her blue Ida version. Solitaria, I don't know. I mean, Solitaria has like a little sticker or a little tattoo on the top of her boob or whatever. So you always know that Solitaria probably has a push-up bra. But it feels like Ida is like insane. Now, this is what I mean. Like Harsetti with this kind of like idol game, like Idol Angels type of animation with the boobs rocking like north, south, east, and west. Like Epic 7, I've already said this before, with the New Moon Luna, they need to do more of that. And this is why I think that they're going to get more people again, because they have an infinite game loop with farming better and better gear. They have incentives where they feel very, very generous, and Epic 7 is still relatively very generous in terms of a gacha game. You can reroll Garo Shop for premium currency to summon with. Sorry, using premium currency, reroll the shop, but you can get, like, you know, if you have some spare premium currency, you could get more bookmarks or whatever to pull for characters. And again, I can't list a single gacha game that has any mechanic like that, in my opinion. And then you got like RTA, you got people like backing the very intense PvP side, very intense PvE side, people who are just casuals. And then what they were missing was the booba thing, right? The whole thing about like Arya being nerfed because of some Korean moms being pissed off, and then Sylvan Sage Vivian getting pre-nerfed, and then everybody being very, very like. But then and then last summer hit, right? And we had Lethe, we had a New Moon Luna, we have all these like crazy, like they're just off the rock now, man. Like, and again, back into the Ida thing, they're on form. And what I hear is that Epic 7 is again making more money. And I have to say the only thing that changed was the big booby waifus. Because you have to understand, the most hardcore players in terms of like World Arena or whatever might not even be big spenders. But people who collect waifus, you take a look at any idol game that has zero gameplay but big booby waifus, that's where the money goes, right? So good job, Epic 7. But if you are watching this, please implement the change. You guys gave us that new Luna skin, which was literally the same look as Blue Luna, but a different pose. Give that to us for other waifus. Just different poses. I don't even need a new costume. You don't even have to change the freaking S3. Just a new pose, and the skin can be dirt cheap, or you can make it expensive, up to you, but just give us more options. I feel like the lack of options is hurting Epic 7. They need to think about their player base in every type of player. Every type. The collector, the gear grinder, the like flex my gear people, the actual competitive players. They need all of that, right? So you're doing the right thing with increasing boob sizes, showing more skin and whatever, and then having like husbandos like Schniel not do that, not show big caca or whatever. It's good. It is a balance. It means that you're not fully degen, but you're not afraid to allow it sometimes. And that's what I think players want. They want a mix of that. So I'm going to end this here for the video. Holy crap, I talked a long time. If you've watched this all the way to the end, let me know in the comments down below, because it just proves that you're an insane. You're a champ. You're the GOAT. But I'm going to end this here. Hopefully this has been informative, and hopefully you like my analysis. I'll talk to you guys next time.